The first arrow struck at dawn. It wasn't the thud of iron on wood that silenced the beach. It was the hiss, like a serpent waking. Flame uncoiled up the mainsail of the Invicta, Roman red devouring Roman linen. Ash rained on General Marcus Drusus's armor as he watched the fire spread, not with triumph, but with the grim focus of a surgeon amputating a limb. Behind him, 12,000 men stood frozen, the truth crashing louder than the waves. No way home. One soldier vomited into the surf. Another whispered a dead wife's name. Drusus locked eyes with the youngest, Optio Felix, barely 18, and saw the boy's soul fracturing. "Breathe the fire," Drusus commanded, voice cutting through the chaos. "Let it scorch the fear out of your lungs." Today, Carthage learns what happens when Romans forget how to retreat. The transports became pyres, the sea boiled, and the screams. They didn't sound human anymore. Carthage knew. Hannibal stood on the obsidian walls, not smiling. "He burned them?" "All of them." His scout nodded. Wind whipped the general's leopard skin cloak. "Then he's more dangerous than I thought." His advisor scoffed. "Madness! They'll starve in a week." "You mistake desperation for weakness," Hannibal said, staring at the smoke staining the horizon. Drusus didn't trap his men. He unshackled them. Now every Roman fights like his afterlife depends on it. Because it does. He snapped his fingers. "Release the dreamers." From shadowed alleys they emerged. Carthage's secret weapon. Not soldiers, priests, their eyes milk white, lips stained blue from the hallucinogenic callus root. They didn't carry swords, they carried bone flutes. "Let's see," murmured Hannibal, "how brave they are when their nightmares walk." The music began at midnight. Felix jerked awake in the trenches, clawing at his ears. The sound slithered, a melody that smelled of rotting roses and open graves. Around him, hardened legionaries sobbed, stabbing at phantoms only they could see. "The flutes make you see what you fear most," gasped Centurion Vornus, driving his dagger into his own thigh to stay conscious. "My daughter, drowning. Gods, she's drowning." Felix's vision swam. Before him stood his infant son Marcus, but his skin peeled like birch bark, revealing maggots beneath. The boy reached for him. "Papa, why did you leave me to burn?" Felix raised his javelin, trembling. "You're not real." "Aren't I?" The phantom child smiled with blackened teeth. "You chose glory over me the moment you let Drusus torch those ships." "No!" Felix lunged, not at the phantom, but past it, toward the sound of the flute. He found the dreamer in a moonlit olive grove. The priest didn't fight. He smiled as Felix's sword pierced his chest. "You win nothing, Roman," he choked. "My death releases the real nightmare." The corpse dissolved into scarab beetles. They swarmed Felix, burrowing into his ears, his mouth, and the world went black. Drusus found Felix at dawn. The boy was carving words into his own forearm with a rusted nail. "No ships, no shame, no soul." "Look at me, Optio," Drusus commanded, gripping Felix's jaw. The general's eyes were bloodshot, a fresh scar raking his temple. They got to Varenus. He walked into the Carthaginian lines, begging them to drown his daughter. Felix moaned, beetles still crawling beneath his skin. "I hear them, in my bones." "Then use them." Drusus slammed Felix against a charred siege tower. "You think I don't see Lucius?" Felix froze. "Drusus's dead brother? He stands beside me every moment." Drusus whispered, raw, rotting, asking why I let him die for nothing. "I carry him because it hurts. Pain is the whetstone, Felix. Sharpen your rage on it." He pressed his dagger into Felix's hand. "The flutes are made from human ribs. Find them. Break them. Or next time you see your son, he'll ask you to join him in the grave." They attacked during the sandstorm. Drusus led the charge through stinging grit, his crimson cloak the only color in a world of ochre dust. Carthaginian arrows found Roman throats, but the legion didn't waver. No one screamed. They'd forgotten how. Felix moved like a ghost, guided by the beetles whispering in his skull. He found the dreamers in the temple of Baal Hammon, playing their flutes atop a ziggurat slick with sacrificial blood. For Marcus, Felix breathed, and threw his torch. The priest's bone flutes ignited like dry tinder, their screams harmonized with their cursed music. On the walls, Hannibal roared as the Roman battering ram, a ship's mast salvaged from the burned fleet, splintered the gates of Tanit. "Drusus!" Hannibal bellowed, drawing his curved khopesh. "Let's see if your fire lives in your veins." They clashed atop the battlements, steel shrieking. Below, Felix watched Drusus falter. Hannibal's blade bit deep into his thigh. This is it, Felix thought. The dream dies here. Then he heard it, the voice of his son, clear beneath the beetle hiss. "Papa, fly." Felix snatched a Carthaginian spear, took aim, and threw. It struck Hannibal's back, punching through gold scale armor. The general staggered. Drusus didn't hesitate. His sword removed Hannibal's head in one brutal arc. As Carthage burned, Drusus limped to Felix. "How?" Felix touched his temple. "The beetles. They showed me the angle." Drusus nodded at the charred fleet bones in the harbor. "We didn't just burn boats, Felix. We forged a new kind of Roman." Victory tasted like ashes. In Carthage's plundered throne room, Drusus poured wine over Hannibal's severed head. "For Lucius," he murmured. Scouts burst in. Carthaginian fleet, 15,000 fresh troops, anchoring in the bay. Felix tensed. "We have 800 wounded men. We can, Drusus said, swirling the dregs in his cup. "Because we must." He drank, then smashed the cup. "The boats are gone. The bridge is burned. There is only forward." As Felix walked to the balcony, Drusus's voice followed in him. "They'll call this madness. But madness is the only sane response to a world that demands retreat." Below, the Mediterranean swallowed the sun. Charred ribs of Roman ships glowed phosphorescent green beneath the waves. Drowned sentinels of the point of no return. Felix felt the beetles stir in his skull, whispering promises of the next battle, the next war, the next impossible victory. He smiled. No ships, no shame, no end.